Okay guys, okay, let me share my screen. So fine, okay. So, okay team, so we have started with our AWS part and we have seen how to provision a virtual machine, I believe, right? I believe we have seen
This
a virtual
conference will
machine.
now be recorded.
I'm just thinking, let me go there and see whether we provisioned a VM or not. I think we provisioned, let me see. Okay, so just go to the portal and go there and double check the EC2. Okay, you can see whether you have a VM or not. Okay, I do see two instances are there but which are not running. Let's see. I believe the project VM is ours. Okay, this was the one in our last class we just created, if I'm not wrong. Okay, and if you recall, I think we have launched this particular, you can see the complete information about your virtual machine here. Okay, you can check the networking where you can see where exactly you have launched this one. See, you have launched this one in the public subnet right under your VPC, which is a project VPC, and this is your private IP. Each and every information will be available here. You can see that, and if you go to the security, there is a security group which been attached to this one. The security group means network security group, which we have seen in Azure, a similar one, but we are going to play in detail in AWS. Don't worry on that. And if you go for the general details, I think here you can see there is no public IP. There is no public IP for this one. I think since your VM is under stop state, that's the reason, maybe the IP count. Let me go there and let's give a start for this instance. I think the VM will have, I think, public IPv4 also will be allocated, and there is a private IP and the public IP, and you can see each and every information about your virtual machine here, each and everything you can see. Okay, if you go to the storage, I believe you can see the storage of what exactly the ABS volume being attached for this one. This was the root one, right? So which you can see this particular thing, and this was the exact the volume ID which been attached to that. Okay, which is the 8 GB one which been attached, right? Okay, fine. So far makes sense. I think these are all about the virtual machine. Now we are going to provision. I believe in our last class we have seen a virtual network and the public and private subnet and the internet gateway and the NAT gateway. I think these are all the things we have seen, if I'm not wrong. Let me go there and double check one small thing. I just want to double check one simple thing as part of the VNet. Whether did we discuss about not VNet, VPC guys. Okay, just go to the VPC. If you go for the VPC, there you can see a few things over there. Okay, I just want to double check what this each and everything is. I think we need to create two route tables. I'm just double checking whether we created the two route tables or not. That's an important thing which I want to make sure here. Okay, I believe I just want to double check one thing. Okay, ours is the project VPC, right? Ours is the project VPC. That's the point. I believe, yeah, project VPC. Yes, you can see two route tables are there. One is the main route table. Right, this is the main route table. If you see the main route table there, you can check one thing, how exactly we have been organized. The main route table we have allowed for the internet gateway, right, and public subnets we would have associated already, right? We already associated the public subnet. That makes sense. Now I'm just going for the another one which is not a main route table, which is user route table. Here also you can see the private subnets, and if you go for the route, I think you can see the NAT gateway being attached to this one, right? So far okay. Now I'm going to show you one important thing here. The same concept what we have seen in the Azure, right? For example in AWS, how exactly you want to connect to the database, right? How exactly you want to connect to the database? The database is a private always, right? We have seen a combination how exactly the Azure database looks like, how exactly the Azure database behaves. I think those things and all we have seen. Let me go there and open the AWS one and we'll see. See, the point here is, I think concept is same. The concept is same here also. You will launch your database as a public or a private. So that concept is here also same concept, okay? But the point you need to remember here is, guys, okay? The point you need to remember here is one simple thing is there. One simple thing is there. Just a second. Yeah, okay, so one simple thing is that which you need to understand. For example, I'm just considering this is a VPC cloud. Okay, this is your VPC cloud. In this particular VPC cloud, basically, I think you already know you have created few subnets already, right? I'm just going to place a few subnets over there. This is one subnet, right? This is another subnet or something like this. Okay, two subnets are there, and this is a one more subnet which you can see here, and there is a one more subnet which you can see here as well. Now the point is, okay, now the point is you need to launch your database. Okay, how exactly you need to launch your database? That's a question you will get in AWS. Okay, so it is not like Azure. In Azure, simply you will select one simple subnet. That's all you will launch inside a subnet, and you will think, okay, since you launched in a subnet, automatically it's a private. Oh, you will not this one as a we will not allow your database as a public. That's the conditions we have seen in Azure. But in AWS, I just want to keep the point to be highlighted here. Okay, the first and foremost thing, I'm just taking a private subnet A or something like this. Okay, I'm just taking another one private subnet B. Okay, something like this. Okay, for example, these are the two subnets which you have created already, right? So I'm just taking the same examples and we'll play with the same. Okay, this is private subnet A and this is private subnet B. Okay, the private subnet B. Okay, so I'm just keeping these two subnets here. Now the point is, okay, these two are the private and these two are the public. Public means obviously, you know, the only why I'm calling these two subnets are public, the only reason for that one is I have attached internet gateway for these two subnets. Why I'm calling these two subnets are private, the reason for that one is I have just attached I have a NAT gateway to this particular private subnets. Okay, so that is the only difference between these two. Now the point is, okay, this is a group, right? This is a private subnet group, right? Now this is a public subnet group. I'm just keeping a public subnet group here. Public subnet group. Okay, I'm just keeping here the public subnet. Okay, for your reference, I'm just writing here. Okay, public subnet, and here this one also I'm just writing a public subnet. Okay, public subnet. So I'm just giving just a second, guys. Just a second. Give me a second. లేదండి షాప్ దగ్గర ఉందా? Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so as part of this particular thing, okay, I'm just keeping a public subnet C. I'm just keeping this one with public subnet D. Okay, something like that. Now I'm just keeping a different color for these two because these two we are calling as a public, right? So that is the reason I'm just keeping these two. And as part of this implementation, you just select this one, just increase the size. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Now the point is, okay, now the point is this to the private subnet combination, right? This is called private subnet combination and this is public subnet. The only difference I already mentioned, NAT gateway, internet gateway. That's a simple difference. Now the point to be noted, now I'm going to launch a database. How exactly you're going to launch a database? So that is the point you need to understand first and foremost thing. See, I'm going to launch a database inside this private subnet group. This is what I'm going to launch, guys. So that is an interesting thing which you need to understand. Okay, how exactly this is possible to launch for you inside a subnet group. In Azure, I think we have seen a combination, like we have launched our database, right? We have launched our database basically simply inside one subnet, right? That's what you have achieved in Azure, correct? So but in AWS, I think you are going to launch your database inside a group of subnets. That is the interesting thing here. Okay, now I'm just keeping a point here. I don't think so I can really make sense here. Just a second, diagrammatically, just a second. I'm just trying for the best. Okay, no worries. Let me do one small thing. Okay, I'll keep like this, something like this, so that you will aware, okay, what exactly I'm trying to do. Okay guys, okay, I believe you can sense something, okay, at least with this diagram explanation. All right, so now the point is, okay, this is what the exactly thing. Now the point is, okay, since your database is sitting inside the two private subnets, this one, we'll call this one as a group. Okay, this is a group actually. So don't think like it's a CG thing which you can easily configure or something. Now the point is the database is being launched inside this particular group of subnets, meaning that it is not easy for you to go there and interact with the database because it's a private subnets, right? These two are the private subnets. If it is a private subnet, obviously it is not possible for you, not easy for you, right? Mainly not easy for you to just connect with these two. Okay, that's the point here. Okay, so now what exactly we need to do, I'll tell. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, someone is knocking the door. Just give me a second. Chabama. చెప్పు. వెళ్ళిపోయాడు వచ్చి టక్కున వచ్చి టక్కున వెళ్ళిపోయాడు. నేను లేరని చెప్పా. అసలు ఎందుకు వచ్చి క్లాస్లో ఉన్నానమ్మా. నువ్వు సర్లేపో మళ్ళీ చెప్పు. ఇప్పుడు ఒక అరగంట అయి రమ్మని, లేకపోతే ఓకేనా? రాత్రి రేపు రమ్మనమ్మా. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so basically, so this is a group. That's why I'm just representing by keeping a combination here, so that you can understand. Maybe this is the exact representation or something. Okay, right. So my point is, okay, in this particular group you have launched a database. Okay, you have launched a database. Now this makes sense. Okay. Now the point is, now here is you. Here exactly you are sitting here, a business user or whoever it is. Okay. Okay. So just give me a second, guys. Sorry, very sorry. Na. చెప్పాను చూపించడానికి కదా ఎట్లా అనుకుంటానా. అదైతే వాష్రూమ్లో లైట్ అనుకుంటారు. నేను తీసి పెడతానన్నా.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, hello. Is able to hear me now? Hello. Can someone just put a S message in the chat box, please? Okay, fine. Okay, all right, guys. Okay. So now just assume this guy is a business user. Okay, the business user is just asking you are a cloud engineer or DevOps engineer, whoever it is. Okay, he's just asking you, hey DevOps engineer, we just need a connection to the database. So this is what exactly he's asking. Okay, so in this particular scenario, what exactly you need to do, so this is a business user I just mentioned, right? I'm just keeping a BU here. For example, the concept is same. The concept which you know already. That particular concept is nothing but first you will allow this particular business user to connect to the public subnet. You know one thing, right? We have already placed a virtual machine in this particular public subnet already. That concept because we already launched the VM inside this particular public subnet, correct? We have already launched and day before yesterday's class. Okay, I think we have launched. So now my point is, my point is, since this particular database, this virtual machine is already there in the public subnet, now the process is very easy for you. So I'm just keeping this one as a VM. Okay, this one as a VM. This is a virtual machine. Now you need to allow the business user, hey business user, please go there and connect to the VM first. Then once you connect to the VM means you already came inside a subnet. So subnet to subnet communication is quite possible, no worries on that. But still if you are still controlling your particular database traffic by using network security group, you need to still allow it. Okay, you need to still allow that. That is the point. That is a new thing in AWS. That's the point you need to understand. So you need to double check security group. Okay, this particular security group you need to double check now. If you don't understand this particular security group, how exactly this rule works, I think it's difficult for you. I will show you how exactly this works so that you will get an idea. Okay, I'm just keeping this particular security group here. Okay, security group here. Okay, sorry, I'm just keeping security group here. So to hit this particular database, the traffic needs to be double checked at the security group. If you don't check the security group, because that is the key here usually, but you will not worry much in Azure, because of course if someone added the security group, you need to take care. But in this case, you need to allow the traffic properly, because it's a private one. You need to allow the traffic properly from VM to the database, and you need to double check the security group. That's the only thing I just want to highlight for you. Okay, now how exactly we need to achieve this case? Okay, that's the thing we will see now. Okay, right now I'm just going to the cloud again. Okay, I'm just going to the cloud again. So as part of this particular cloud, we'll go there and provision one database first. Okay, so just go to the cloud. As part of this one, just go for the RDS. Okay, I'm just opening the RDS. Just open this one. So as part of this particular RDS, right? So just you go there and just provision one particular database. I'm going to provision my favorite database, which is the Postgres one. So that's the one usually I'll provision. Just go to the databases. I think it's the same thing I showed you in Azure. That's why the case may be a bit easier for you. Just click a create database. Okay, so the standard create, and the Amazon Aurora, MySQL, MariaDB, a lot of things are there. Just go there and select one particular database. I'm just selecting here PostgreSQL, and I'm just selecting the other version. I think you can select the different versions are available. I think what is the default version which is recommending, I'm just selecting the same, and the template format. So what kind of database you just want to provision? Is it a production equivalent and what test or fit or something like that? For example, I'm just taking for you the dev and test. Okay, that is also possible. I think you can just take it. Okay, then availability and durability. Okay, this is the one maybe you just need to have an idea on this. Okay, there you can see single DB, multi-AZ cluster. So 3 types of deployment models are available. We'll see one by one. Single DB creates a single DB instance with no standby DB. Guys, you remember one thing in Azure we have discussed one important thing. I think I have opened the screen. We have discussed one important thing. I don't know whether you can recall that particular thing or not. Anyway, I'll just open that particular diagram. Then you can sense exactly what exactly I'm talking about. Okay, in HA case, in high availability case, always there is a standby replica is available. Guys, you remember? Yeah, this one. Okay, for example in Azure, I'm just comparing the Azure. This is your actual database. Okay, this is your actual database, and this is your standby replica, and these two can be in different zones, or these two can be in the same zone, and these are the backups. Forget about the backups. You can keep backups in the same region, or you can keep backups in the different region. That is also possible, right? This is the concept which we discussed. Remember, this is a primary, this is a standby. We'll call primary and standby. Simple point. Okay, now you go to the AWS. Okay, now if you come here, okay, the first one, creating a single DB with no standby replica. They are saying it's a single DB. If something happens to that particular DB, you're gone. You're gone literally, because you need to restore from the backup. That's the only solution you have. You don't have any other alternates. So this is not at all a recommended approach, to be frank. Okay, maybe could be for the test environments, not at all for the productions. Remember the next one, multi-AZ DB instance. Create a primary DB instance and standby DB instance in a different AZ. This is the concept exactly I'm talking about. So this is the primary and the standby in the different zone. So this is exactly the thing I'm just conveying to you. Okay, this is the primary, this is the secondary, right? Absolutely all right. Then what exactly they are discussing? Yeah, provides high availability and data redundancy, but the standby DB instance doesn't support the connections for read workload. Come on, so there is a catch here. Okay, so they are saying this particular database can be in different availability zone, but which is of no use. No use means just supporting high availability. In case this zone gone, this zone DB will help you. That is the only use. But actor, the user, business user, cannot connect to this particular standby replica database. That is not possible, they are saying. Okay, this is not possible. Only this one will help you to just maintain the high availability. In case of failure, this one will help you. That's it. Now I'm going further. There is another one, multi-AZ DB cluster. This is a new feature, seems to be they added. Let's go through it. Okay, creates a DB cluster with a primary DB instance and 2 readable standby DB instance, with each DB instance in different availability zone, and provides high availability, data redundancy, increase the capacity to serve the read workloads. Okay, that's the beauty here. The multi-AZ DB cluster, obviously, you know one thing, I think based upon your selection only, I think you will be charged, guys. Remember, you need to understand that. Okay, you need to understand that. For example, what exactly they are saying. So what they are saying is, okay, so I'm just comparing here. Okay, what they are saying, along with this, they will give one more in the different zone, and these two, I think new one, these two, this one and the new one, these two can help us for the read operations as well. so that you can ask your business users or whoever it is, business analyst or product owners, hey guys, you don't need to connect to this database always. You can go there and connect to any of these two databases. Almost data is same. You can recommend like that. So that's the beautiful option which you will prefer for the productions. Okay. For now, I'm just going for the single DB, and that's more than enough for me. As part of the DB instance identifier, there you are saying something. Okay, this is the DB name. What exactly the DB name? You're just keeping the project hyphen DB. Okay, something like that. I'm just keeping. As part of the master user, what is the username for your database? It's the Postgres. Okay, for example. Okay, I'm just taking the same thing and another one. Okay, so how exactly you want to manage your password? You want to manage your credentials in the secret manager. The secret manager is nothing but in AWS cloud. It's a kind of a keyword. We have Azure keyword, right? In the same way, we have AWS secret manager. AWS secret manager. So if you enable this one, meaning that your password will be stored in the secret manager, AWS secret manager. That is the security you are providing. If you don't enable that one, I can go for the auto generated. For example, if it will provide you one password for you, no worries on that. No, I don't want to go like that. Okay, you can just set the password, not an issue. For example, you can set one particular password. Okay, I'm just setting a password here. Okay, I'm setting a password. Once you set a password, I think you can see different types of okay, maybe I'll give some lengthy password. It's showing here. Just wait for a while. Okay, let's see. Let's wait for a while. I think it will be okay. Just a second. Can't contain any of the following slash, single quote, double quote. Oh, and at the rate. I think I'm using at the rate. Okay. I think that's the problem here. Okay, just a second. It's okay. I'm removing the at the rate. I'm just giving the password again. Do not match. Okay, this is another problem. Just a second, one more time. Okay, right, matched. Okay, all right, okay, fine. So basically, I think as part of this implementation, I think there are different types of instance configuration. I believe this one you know already. The same key, similar classes are available in Azure as well. The standard and memory optimized or burstable, some kind of methods. I think you can select a standard one always. I think I'm just selecting the base model out of it. Okay, I think there I think I actually sorry, yeah. Then actually I think the base model I'm just selecting some basic one. Okay, so 2 GB 2 core and 8 GB or something blah information. So finally there is a storage, right? This is the exact storage. I think the similar thing, however you managed, especially in general purpose or general purpose SSD or different types of storage methods or provisioned IOPS method or magnetic disk. Okay, how exactly you just want to go for that. Okay, so I think this is your wish. Okay, the flexibility in provisioning IO operations or whatever it is. Okay, I'm just see. I think you can read something. Baseline performance determined by volume size. Performance scales independently from storage. My point is, if you think okay, so for example, if you select something, right, so you have an option. Minimum is 220 GB and the maximum is 65,536. I believe okay, you just select a general purpose. This is the default option which they are providing for you. No, on top of it, no, you just want to go for SSD disk or general purpose SSD GP2 or GP3. I think you can read the purpose here. Baseline performance determined by the volume size and the performance scales independently from the storage. So that and all your wish. Maybe my suggestion is just go for the any general purpose one. That is more than enough. Okay, so fine. So baseline performance determine the volume size. So now my point is okay, allocated is 200 GB. This is the default one. I think again if you, as long as you have the enable auto scaling, you remember this particular feature was not there in Azure. When we were provisioning our database server, actually we never seen a case like auto scaling, storage auto scaling, right? I haven't seen this case. Okay, so that is the another interesting thing which you need to understand. So that the beauty here is You are starting with 200 GB. The maximum storage charges will apply when your database auto scale to specified threshold. The maximum, okay. So now if you read this one, enabling this feature will allow your storage to increase after a specified threshold is exceeded. So my point is, how much you are allocating? You are allocating 200 GB. You are allocating 200 GB. And always remember one thing, storage auto scaling is the best option which you always need to keep. For example, if you don't keep this particular storage auto scaling, if your storage reached already, you don't know that, obviously you will be alerted and few of your API requests will fall under failure. So that's a bad thing. So that is the reason always you need to have some sort of auto scaling feature enabled, guys. Okay, that's another important thing. The next one is, I think that is what you just enable this particular thing. Okay, enabling this feature will allow the storage to increase after the specified threshold is exceeded. Okay, so what is this maximum storage threshold? Okay, so you're just keeping, okay, yeah, again, so maximum storage threshold, the charges will apply when your database auto scales to the specified threshold. Okay, so my point is, you are allocating 200 GB, but doesn't mean that you will be charged for 1000 GB. First and foremost thing you need to understand. But up to where exactly you can scale up to maximum storage threshold. So that is the point. I think you are defining something here. Your allocated minimum is 200, meaning that you need to start with some 220 or 200 or some information they are just giving for you. Okay, for example, I just changed the value as 240. Now you are saying minimum is 264. So that is the point. I think you just need to understand. Okay, and the maximum is as usual 65,536. That's a common thing. Okay, right. So my point is, you are allocating 240 GB. Okay, you are allocating 240 GB, and the charges. So remember one thing. So whenever you are provisioning your AWS components, guys, another point I want to highlight for you, always you can see an option called info. This one will give you complete information. Even in Azure also, you need to go there and maybe you need to search. This particular thing is available only in a few areas, but in AWS I think you can sense in each and every area. For example, I'm just selecting this info. I think what exactly they are just keeping to choose the maximum storage threshold required by the planned workload of the DB instance. So max to max, I think where it can reach to, that is the point they're just saying. Okay, so that is the point. Okay, I think for me, I think minimum is 240. It can start, I think max it can go for 1000. That's a maximum also you need to define, right? Because it needs to understand how it needs to scale. What is the scaling criteria? That is the reason you need to provide this particular thing. Maybe you can sense the same. Maybe you can sense the moment when you click this one, there is a learn more, right? One more. Just open this one. Maybe you just go through the documentation. Maybe you'll get more and more. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, see, with auto scaling enabled, with the storage auto scaling enabled, RDS detects you are running out of a free database space, automatically scale up your storage. Amazon RDS starts a storage modification for auto scaling enabled DB instance. So when exactly it will do auto scaling, the conditions: free available space is less than 10% of the allocated. For example, if you allocated is 200, right? 200 of 10% means actually 20 GB. If your allocated space is less than 20, then auto scaling will happen. Okay, will happen. The low storage condition lasts at least for 5 minutes. Okay, for example, the low storage, I think that is the one exactly it is feeling that if it sends, okay, the storage is very low and it lasts for the last 5 minutes, automatically it will scale up. Okay, at least 6 hours have passed since the last storage modification. Storage optimization has completed on the instance, whichever is longer. So again, another conditions, for example, we are modifying a storage now, right? We are modifying storage. First time we are creating, right? So it will check, okay, past 6 hours, I think how exactly this particular storage is behaving, and our storage optimization has completed. So whatever may be the conditions, whatever may be the case, the major thing which you need to keep in your mind here is your database storage will be auto scaled, and the additional storage increments, whichever is the greater again, either 5 GB or 10% of the currently allocated. What is your 10% of the currently allocated is 20 GB. So 20 GB is higher, right? So whichever is greater, I think it will take that particular thing. That's what exactly it is saying. Okay. So no worries on this. You usually you don't need to especially worry on this kind of condition. No need to go in detail as well. You just set the conditions like that. That's more than enough. Okay. Okay, right. So once this is done, right? Once this is done, okay, there exactly you are saying, right? The compute resource or connectivity. How exactly you want to connect to this particular database? You want to connect by using EC2, or you want to no need EC2 connection at all? I believe we already discussed this one. I think we are expecting EC2 to connect to this particular particular database, right? You just go there to the RDS. I think I'm not I'm not considering anything here, because if I select, maybe something will be automatically happen. I don't want to show that. I just want to show you the actual case, how exactly manually you need to set up. Maybe you can understand the next time onwards. Maybe you can take automatic approach. That's your wish. And finally, you're going for the VPC. Of course, this is my VPC, the project VPC. Now this is the interesting thing which you need to understand. What exactly it is talking about? DB subnet group. That's what I discussed, guys. That's what I discussed exactly when you are provisioning a database. If you come here, this is a group. That's what exactly I was discussing about, right? You just come here as part of this implementation. At this particular moment, you don't have any kind of group, right? Because I have not created any group. For example, if you are trying to create a new DB subnet group, that is different completely. Okay. So now my point is, always it's a very good practice. Okay, always very good practice. If you create a subnet group and select that one, that's the best one. Okay, that is the thing obviously you need to do. Well, let's do that, not an issue. But I just want to go through the options first. Okay, public access. Of course, I'm not allowing a public access. No. And this is the security group. Okay, what is the security group which you are trying to create? Okay, choose existing or new security group. Okay, I want to create a new security group. I'm creating a new security group at db-sts something. Availability zone for this particular thing. Okay, I actually no preference for this particular thing. Just leave it. Okay. I believe RDS proxy. What is the RDS proxy? Highly managed database improves the application scalability. If you want, I think you can create. I think basically not required, guys. Okay. What are the options are defaultly not selected. You don't need to select that one. But be careful when you are selecting an option. The point is, it will be chargeable or something. You need to double check as well. See, Amazon RDS proxy pricing also you need to check. Okay. Don't go and just enable. Just go through the document before enabling. The database port, I think Postgres is listening to 543. If you want to change, you can change it. And there is a password authentication or password or IAM. You remember one of the session I took for you all, especially in Azure also. Azure password based authentication or Azure AD based authentication or something like that. I think I discussed with you, right? With the similarly in AWS also, you can send something like password based authentication or password IAM based authentication or password or Kerberos authentication. I think different types of authentication which you can consider. Okay, but basically this is the basic one which you will prefer. But going forward, just go for the password and IAM. I think I gave the technique in Azure already. Similar implementation for the AWS as well. So this is the monitoring part. I think you don't need to worry about this particular thing. Forget about it, because you don't need to consider much. And then finally, this is your charge. The 180.31 US dollar and the storage and the so on all. Okay, so fine. So once you are here, but the one point we are missing, that particular what is this one, subnet group, node subnet group. You haven't created that. I'm just going one step back. Okay, or one step back. Basically, I think before going for that, I'm just going to the subnet groups. Just go to the subnet group. Once you created a subnet group, okay, I'm just creating create DB subnet group. I'm just giving a project hyphen subnet group for DB or something like some game I'm giving, some name I'm giving. Okay, just copy the name, just paste over there. As part of the VPC, you know already, which is a project VPC. Okay, project VPC. So as part of this particular thing, okay, add subnets. Right there, you are seeing some two subnets. Okay, I'm just adding two, 1A and 1B or something like that. Okay, the subnet selector. I don't see any kind of subnets are available. See, you can see 1A and 1B. I think these store the availability zones which I'm selecting here. Under the subnets, you are seeing either two types of subnets, right? To be frank, I don't know what is a public subnet, what is a private subnet at this moment. So I need to double check one more thing here, which is a public or which is a private. I don't know, because I think it is not giving me the names. It is giving me the subnet ID. By using subnet ID, definitely I can't remember. Okay, I'm simply going there. I'm just going for the subnets. Okay, if you go for the subnets, I'm just going to the VPC. There you can see the subnets and all. Just come here, just click the subnets. Okay, if you see the subnets, I think you can see the subnet ID here. So just click the subnets. All right, if you click the subnets, I think you can see. So what exactly the subnet ID you are referring here. So you just come here, right? So this here you can see something like, okay, Just a second, guys. I think it's very difficult for you to filter it out. I think this is the easy technique which you can use, the project VPC. Okay, project VPC. Now you can see exactly the thing. Private. These two are very important for me because I'm going to launch my database in the private subnets, not in the public. That's the basic point. So if you see this one, which is start with the 0D, which is start with 09. Okay, 0D09. That's the clue. Okay, just go there. You just come here. Where is 0D09? So 0D, this is one subnet, another one is 09. If you understand one simple pointer, okay, you already selected two different subnets which are sitting in two different availability zone. So this is the condition. I think you can sense already your database will be available in two different zones. Or this is how exactly you need to prefer your subnet group. Once you are done, just go there and create the subnet group. Right, so once your subnet group is getting created, the next important thing what you need to do, just go to the databases. Once you go to the databases, just click a create database. Now I'll go and create a database very quickly, because I already gave an explanation for you. Okay, so now just come here. I think it's just taking some time to just load the screen. Just wait for a while. Okay, so I think standard creates, right, the PostgreSQL, right? So once click the PostgreSQL, just come here the 13.7 or something. I'm just going with the dev and test model, and you know already I'm just going for the single DB server instance. Okay, just come here as part of this in DB instance identifier. I'm just giving okay the project hyphen DB or something like that. Okay, as part of this one, the master name I'm just giving the Postgres as it is. As part of the master password, I think which we know already, I'm just giving something like this. Okay, which we are giving something like this. Right, so once this is done, I think standard model I'm just keeping, and this is the basic model, the basic one which I can keep. I no need to go for a very big compute as well. I don't require actually. I just go for the provision IOPS model. General purpose is fine, more than enough. And I look at this 200. I'm just keeping the auto scaling is enabled for your friends. Okay, but anyway, I don't require this much. Okay, I'm just taking some 280 or something. Sorry. Okay, 280 or something. Oh, sorry. Okay, 280. Okay, so that's the maximum threshold I think it can reach to. And I'm not giving any EC2 connection directly by default. I'm just returning VPC, which is the project type and VPC. There, see, this is the point which I want to highlight. See, this is the subnet which we have created. So it's auto selected and the public apps I'm not giving. And coming to the security group, I want to create a new security group. That's why I'm just considering this one. As part of this one, I'm just giving project hyphen DB hyphen security group. I'm just giving a same naming convention as -sg. -sg refers to the security group. Available digit not really required. I think database authentication, password authentication is more than enough. Okay, once you are done with all these things, just go there and check your price is $207.91 US, and just go there, create database. Okay, your DB will be created. I think passwords don't match here. Okay, let me double check. Right. Okay, fine. So I'm going there. I'm just creating database here. Okay, so with this, I think database will be created. So once the database will be created, I think it will take some time. It will take some time, guys. It's not easy. I think it will take some time to just create the database. So once this particular DB is created, I will show you how. I think you know that already. How exactly you need to connect to this database by using a DB viewer. That particular thing you know already. So I think that by using the same technique, I think we will connect to this one, right? So this is what exactly I just want to discuss with you about the database in the today's class. And the yesterday's class, I think day before yesterday's, I think whatever it is, previous class we discussed about the virtual machine, and the next class we are going to discuss about the Kubernetes cluster. I will show you a connection for this database, and then we will switch to the Kubernetes cluster. There we will discuss the Kubernetes cluster and the deployments and all in the next class. Please connect to the class tomorrow, guys. Okay, tomorrow you have a class tomorrow. Okay, you have a class tomorrow, Monday. Just remember, connect tomorrow. Again, your next class will be on Saturday, Sunday. Okay, connect to the class tomorrow because no class happened on yesterday. So that's the reason scheduling a class tomorrow. Okay, please connect tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much, guys. See you all tomorrow. Bye bye.